This is the English 4 Final Exam Social Issue Research Project informative video. There are a lot of social issues in the world. What I mean by social issues are things that have caused problems in our society. Things such as global warming. Things like cancer. And also things like drinking and driving. A social issue is social because it impacts a large group of society. A social issue is also an issue because it's hurting our world. What are some social issue topics that you find strike a nerve or inspire you? Anger you? Interest you? For me, it was topics such as animal abuse and animal hoarding. And also repaying student loan debt. During this video, we have 3 viewing goals. Goal number 1 is I will be able to define what a social issue topic is. Number 2, I will be able to identify the 3 components of the English 4 final exam. Number 3, I will be able to start brainstorming my own social issue topics. Now is the time to think about a social issue you want to research. This is the main focus for our final exam project, and it has 3 different writing components. By the end of the video, you should be able to accomplish all 3 of these goals. Goal number 1. How do I define a social issue, and how do I define a social issue topic? So what is a social issue again? Remember, a social issue is a problem in our society. It hurts people, and it's something that you want to see changed or fixed. Because we attend Harper Creek High School, you want to think about issues especially in our own community and issues that affect teens. Pretend I am a student, and I'm considering social issues that interest me. Remember, I need to think about topics that I am willing to research and commit to for the rest of the semester. If I don't like the idea of genetic testing, or if I find it boring, I probably shouldn't pick it. As I brainstorm, I think about topics that involve teenagers in my local community. Topics like drug abuse, underage drinking, excessive tanning, drinking energy drinks, smoking, bullying, and texting and driving. Next, I commit to one topic I know that I want to learn more about. In this case, it's excessive tanning. So let's take a break. Think about some social issue topics that interest you. Take about 20 to 30 seconds to brainstorm some ideas silently, and then be ready to share these ideas with the person sitting next to you. Goal number 2. What is the final exam for English 4? What are the 3 components exactly for the final exam? What am I going to be expected to write? As I think about it, before I can start writing about excessive tanning, I need to learn more about the topic. Right now I just know people use tanning beds and I think it leads to skin cancer, but that's not enough. So I begin to research. This is part 1 of the final exam. It's the research and annotated bibliography. As I research, I look for books in the library about tanning. I also search on the web for valid sources, articles, videos, and editorials on the tanning topic. One great place to look is mel.org. This is like a digital library that has a huge collection of valid sources for me to explore online. As I research, I will need to print off articles that I want to share with my teacher and classmates. These articles will later be described in the first writing piece of this project, the Part 1 Annotated Bibliography. An annotated bibliography is basically a paper you write that lists the resources that you found and an informal reflection of what you learned after each resource. Here's a picture so you guys can see what it looks like. Next, Part 2. For the final exam, I will be writing a 6 Things You Should Know formal research paper. As I work on this project, this is Part 2. The research paper will blend the research that I found during Part 1 from my articles and annotated bibliography with my own thoughts and discussion of the topic. I will have to decide what are the 6 most important things that everybody should know about my topic, in this case, excessive tanning. I brainstorm a list based on my research, and then I'll have to write a detailed paragraph about each of the 6 things, using quotes. One of the paragraphs may focus on how tanning can lead to skin cancer. Another may focus on how excessive tanning can lead to premature aging. Part 2 is all about getting my ideas down and then creating a formal research paper that I can share with my teacher that includes graphics and research. Here's an example of the 6 things you should know research paper. This is a topic about reading being a social issue, and as you can see, it includes an introduction, graphics, and paragraphs of research later on. And finally, part 3 of the research project. This is a proposal presentation. This is where you discuss a way to change or impact your social issue. For part 3, I will share 2 to 3 things that I learned from my research paper. I will use different presentation tools and technology to help share my thoughts with my classmates. There are a lot of different technology programs that I can use. One program is called Prezi. This is basically an updated version of PowerPoint. A second possible option is called Glogster. This is where you can make your own online poster or collage. A third option is Weebly. This is making your own online website. Now these are 3 choices, but you're not restricted just to these 3 options. However, part 3 is also about change. Realize you have to do something that's going to impact your social issue some way at the Harper Creek schools and also with teenagers. So, how can I change or help people see excessive tanning is dangerous? Now this is a hypothetical situation, meaning you don't actually have to carry your plan out, but it needs to be realistic and feel like it could be done. For example, after research, I might come up with a Harper Creek Hat Day. It would be a day where kids would pay $2 to wear a hat in school to promote awareness about how you need to cover your face when you're in the sun to prevent skin cancer. I would take the money and actually donate it to a local organization dedicated to help with skin cancer awareness. This is a plan that I could do that would actually help Harper Creek students realize the dangers of tanning, and it would impact my social issue in a positive way. So remember, part 3 is a proposal presentation. Not only will you share some of the research that you learned along the way, but you're also going to have to come up with a way to change or impact your social issue in Harper Creek. Okay, so let's recap. I'm going to give you 3 different questions. I'm going to give you some time to brainstorm it silently, and then be ready to have a conversation with your table mates. Question number 1. What is part 1, the annotated bibliography, really about? Take about 20 to 30 seconds to brainstorm one thing that you learned about this component of the final exam and be ready to share it with your table mates. Question number 2. What is part 2, the 6 things you should know research paper, really about? Take another 20 to 30 seconds to think about one thing that you learned from this component and be ready to share it again with your group mates. And finally, question number 3. What is part 3, the proposal presentation, really about? Take your final 20 to 30 seconds to brainstorm one thing that you learned and be ready to share once again with your table group. Any questions? We are finally on goal number 3. Now that I know what the final exam is going to look like, what are some social issue topics that I'm really interested in trying? Now is the time to start really brainstorming, even more so than when you did at the start of the video. Remember, you need a topic that's hurting society, especially with teens in our local community. Also, remember that you're going to be researching, writing, and presenting on this topic. So pick something that you want to study and think that you can help fix. The time to brainstorm is now.